Hi, Kylie here and welcome to my plan with me for April 2025. So this month is buildings, and as you can see, I've drawn buildings a heap before. That page that was there will come back in a second. I've done it for a theme a number of times, and I even did it as part of my desk calendar that I did in 2024. So yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, just a couple of my little quotes in there, which I'm enjoying sort of when I remember to do them. I don't remember to do them enough, but I think that's a little bit of my life at the moment anyway. So I've done buildings quite a few times. Like I said, I've done it as a pop-up once, which I really enjoyed. I think that was the first time I did buildings. And buildings are just really fun to draw. They're like I've talked about with flowers and those sorts of things. Buildings don't have to be real. They don't have to be architecturally possible. They are just a collection of shapes that you decide on and put together to basically create a structure. Which means you can add in any sort of roof line that you would like, decide on the shapes of windows that you want to have, whether you want ornate doors, whether you want to have brickwork or not, like all of those things. It's just all make-believe, and I enjoy things that just have here are a whole range of elements. Just pick and choose and put them together however you wish to put them together. I really enjoy that. So yeah, buildings are always a bit of a favourite for me to draw. And I have some standard go-tos. The one that I'm drawing at the moment, the roofs, I really like that roof line. So basically sort of like I want to say it's like a rhombus. It's like I don't know, shape on top of the house as the roof is facing out. So yeah, I enjoy that. And so for my title page, I did think about doing another pop-up. I really sort of thought about it, but then time got away from me. And time got away from me because, again, March has had a lot of work in it and a lot of really disparate client work, like just bits and pieces of different things, which I've talked about it before. Once my work gets like that, I start getting a little bit, struggling a bit with focus and with doing those sorts of things. Added to that, tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of having to say goodbye to our lovely puppy dog, Lily. So yeah, it's been a bit, it's been a little bit. This month, the last month, I guess I'm doing this on the 1st of April. So March was a lot. So yeah. So the colour palette that I'm using for this is another one of my primer colour palettes, and I really like this one. In the top right-hand corner is this really, I call it my sea blue and my sea green. They're just really deep, luscious blue and green colour. And it's really interesting because in most of my other colour palettes, I don't like I've got a colour palette that has a light green and a light blue, and I really don't use them. I don't like them as much, but the tones of these ones, I just really enjoy the palette, and I haven't used it enough. I've started using it a lot more of late, and it's got a few more browns than I probably like, but that sort of went, oh, hang on a minute, I'm doing buildings, so how about I use this palette because it's got more brown in it? And look, buildings often do. Not all the time, but often do. So that gave me, a reason to get this one out and use it. It also has a grey in it, which is good for like that sort of cementy type, structure in buildings as well, as I'm using at the moment. So yeah, it just has a lot of nice things that blend well together. And I find that I've been playing with colour a lot more of late, so that, I'm trying to blend a lot more with the palettes to create different colours, and this palette really blends with itself very well. I wish it had a little bit more of a reddy red. That would be my only thing that I would like it to have. But yeah, it's good nonetheless. So I've just got a range of different houses. So instead of doing a pop-up, I got distracted. Instead of doing a pop-up, I just decided that we'd just draw houses because this is the end of this bullet journal. So April is the last month that I'll have in this bullet journal. At the end of April, I will be drawing up a whole new set of admin pages and everything for my new bullet journal. So yeah, if you've not seen that before, then that's what will be part of May. So May will be a slightly longer video. So yeah, I've just got a whole different range of little houses, you know, sort of smaller ones like the one I'm painting at the moment, which the colour scheme I'm very happy with. And then a few multi-storey houses as well. And then down the bottom is a little bit more of a grand house. But yeah, it's just different shapes, different textures. And I think that's what I like about buildings as well, is that that whole concept of texture, like, you know, a shingled roof versus a tiled roof versus, you know, if I do draw bricks on the surface or I don't draw bricks on the surface. Like, there are a whole heap of different things that I can do with them. And so, yeah, it's a really versatile and fun thing to draw if you're thinking of, you know, themes for things that you might want to draw. And they're pretty simple. Really, at the end of the day, these are very simple things to draw. So yeah, so you'll notice as well in a couple of the houses on the top, so that small one in blue, I've got tiles on the roof. I've never actually drawn tiles on the roofs before. I do shingles a lot because they're fun, but not really drawn like tiles, and particularly that side profile of tiles. Really enjoyed it. It's the simplest thing, but for some reason I just really enjoyed it. So I'll probably be putting them on a lot more buildings in future, and they're very, very easy to do. So yeah. All right, my quote for this month is "Light is what gives joy to buildings" by Jacqueline T. Robertson. And because of the theme of the month, I decided I'd go for something about buildings. And this one I just really liked because straight away I thought, oh, I can do what I just did, like draw a shadow to the word light, which just sort of adds a little bit to the lettering. And then, of course, I had to have a light source to do that. And so I got to draw one of my favourite things that I absolutely love drawing, which are light bulbs. Don't ask me why light bulbs are a favourite thing. I think it's just like there's a real organic nature to drawing them. And again, they don't have to be real shaped light bulbs. You can make them any sort of elongated, roundy, sort of shape that you want them to be. But I really enjoy doing them. So yes, I've set them behind and then had the reflection of the word light come out in front of that, which I quite liked. Now you may notice that this is a little bit out of focus. I mean, you think after the amount of videos that I have done, I wouldn't still do these things that I did this time around. So I have, don't ask me why I'm laughing about it because it was so tedious when I worked it out. I basically draw these, I don't draw them all, like it's not all one video together. I basically do part of it and then like I'll stop the video and start the video, which is why at times I've missed bits and pieces out. Oh, just before I keep going, I should say on this page, week 1, I'm drawing a doorway with 4 steps leading up to it and a tree sort of over that door. Love drawing doors. We'll probably do more of that in future. But so because I stop it every time, there's always the chance that I forget to record, which has happened in the past. And because it's sort of on a stand that sits above my head, so I don't see what's recording. So, you know, I have missed out on some bits and pieces in the past. This one, don't worry, I captured everything. Not only did I capture it, I captured it in slow motion. Honestly, I just don't even know how. So about sort of like 6 of these videos were captured in slow motion. And It's fine. I'm not quite sure how. Like, I nearly filled the phone up that I used to film these, so it's great. But when it records in slow motion, it records a slightly smaller video, and it was just sort of not quite focused right and wasn't the same size. So you may notice they're a little bit different. I think it's pretty much resolved itself now because I must have focused it properly, but it still is actually recorded in slow-mo. Anyway, not saying I'm a professional. Let's put it that way. All right, week 2's house is a 2-story house that has like a first story with a roof line and then the second story on top of it. So I've got more tiles again that I really enjoyed drawing, and you can just see they're just little angles that come off, so they're really simple to do, but it just adds a whole other texture to the roof, which I quite like. I was a bit of a fan. Yeah, so I have been getting more into learning my new camera and doing some more photography and those sorts of things. So I don't know, maybe at some point in time I'll share some photos. But yeah, I've been playing with a lot of different things, been playing with the macro. I like shooting photos of little things. I'm not entirely sure what that is about, but I'm not the only person, obviously. But yeah, I'm probably going to end up with quite a bit of macro photography. Not a bad thing at all. So yes, week 3. Week 3 is a bit more of an urban scene. So there's sort of like an apartment building that has sort of an enclosed foyer, and then 3 stories above it, and then a funkier sort of styled building that is also an apartment building because I drew it, so I get to decide what it is. Also an apartment building. And because there was too much room left in the foreground when I drew these, I decided I'd put a car going along the road because why not? Cars are fun to draw. So let's put a car in here and yeah, just flesh out the drawing a little bit more. You'll notice in a few of these, so like the doorway, and then in this scene and also in the next one as well, we'll have, I've got partial buildings, and I don't know why. I think it's because the space is smaller. Like I could sort of expand out the space in the layout I used to have, and this is a little bit more confined, and so I sort of took to filling it out a little bit more and just having some partial sort of structures in there, which I quite liked, which is why when I drew this one, I'm like, no, I'm going to do that again, and we won't have the side of any of it. It's just part of a house. So this is, I don't know, it's a little bit gothic. It's not really gothic. It's got, I'm sure it's a time period, someone will tell me. It's got like a round sort of tower, turrety sort of thing on the front of the house. And when I did the shingles this time, and I don't know why, it's never struck me that they look like dragon scales, but when I did the shingles this time, they really look like dragon scales. So I decided I'd paint the roof green to make it look more like a dragon. Because it's my journal, so I can do whatever I please. So yeah, that's what I decided to do with it. I'm a bit random sometimes, I'm aware of that. And the last week, for some reason, as I was doing this, it popped into my head about, the song Little Boxes, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same. Except I decided to not make them look the same. So I just thought, well, I'll just do a little, on the hillside, lots of different little houses, and really take that idea of just adding different elements together to make them look different. So, different shapes of roof, different textures. Some only have windows, some have a door or doors and windows. So lots of different things, and then fill it in with some green in a second. Lettering with watercolor. It's amazing what you can do when you have the right brush to do it. That's my little tip for that. You need a really pointy, like a brush that goes into a nice point. So very good. All right, this is my bullet journal for April. I think I've rambled way too much this month. Not entirely sure why, but thank you very much for being here. I hope that you like it. I look forward to seeing you at the end of April for Mage drawing and the new bullet journal drawing up. I hope that you have a lovely month and that you get some nice time to spend around Easter and those sorts of things if that's what you do. Thanks.